I'm changing this podcast again, and I'm so excited because I'm a bit sad because I feel like I'm returning to the same starting point I have started with like last year in December 2024. No, December 2023, January 2024, all of that. I was like, oh, I want to do a podcast. And I've been obsessed with all of the productivity podcast girlies who were like, these are my ins and outs for 2024. I was just like so obsessed with the topic of talking like self-care or whatever that was, and just productivity and how to be yourself, yada, yada, yada. And I think I started off that, and then I honestly don't know what happened to that account. I was just like, I'm not feeling it. I had made so many switches, but I honestly realized that, you know, when you scroll on Instagram, on someone's Instagram, and you scroll all the way down, and even though it's now a business page for, I don't know, frozen yogurt, it has started with selfies of the creator as she was 12 years old with her best friend, with those Instagram filters, right? I used to hate that. I used to hate it so much. I didn't want people to see me evolve. I wanted to come to be perfect all the time. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job with now realizing that I think it's kind of fun to like scroll down someone's Pinterest and be like, oh my gosh, their content, their like creativity, their effort they put into this, their skill had grown so much. And also me as a creator, I feel like it's really grounding and nurturing almost to see like my favorite creators be shitty at their job in the beginning. Like whenever I look at someone, oh my gosh, okay, current obsession, Cara Crafts, is that how you say it? I really hope it is. I'm literally using her as my inspiration for the visual arts class at school, and I'm not technically allowed because we are, like, I guess we are only allowed to use, like, people who, like, had made it, and I hate the concept of had made it because I think it doesn't allow me to call myself an artist unless I had made it, and I'm doing like this like squinty thingies with my fingers right now, like the not brackets, oh my gosh, I don't know, you got it. Anyways, I'm being sarcastic because if you want to be an artist, call yourself an artist, because I've always been thinking how you can paint 100 paintings and not be an artist, but you can kill one man and you're a murderer. Crazy, isn't it? Anyways, what I'm talking about is that I'm trying again, and I'm moving on from the concept of studying productivity. I'm moving on from the concept of IB and giving studying techniques, studying stuff. I feel like I'm going to be doing that more on my YouTube right now. I don't know why. Another recent obsession, Ali Abdal. I've been to his New Year's workshop. It was amazing. Seriously, guys, like, subscribe to this guy on YouTube and look out for, like, free gifts like this, because that was amazing. And the fact that it was free, obviously, there's so much more that I think I've missed on because I haven't paid for the, like, nice, like, additional stuff. But, oh my gosh, it was so amazing, and I feel like I did additional reflection on top of what he had taught me in order to plan this episode. So I'm really excited to share all of this and just in general like yap about it, because who doesn't like to yap about themselves? Anyways, I don't know if I said that I'm recording on my floor in my bedroom, my rearranged bedroom. I'm so happy because 2025, New Year's, new me, and my bedroom looks almost like my dream apartment. Like, seriously, I've moved from maximalism to minimalism so drastically. Like, compared to how my room looked before, it was like posters everywhere, sticky notes, things cluttering around, organized mess, all of that, the aesthetic of it. And now I just like, no, I want a blank wall, I want a couple of sticky notes, I want 2 posters, I want a lot of space. And I've been so influenced by the way Pinterest sees content creation that even the fact that I don't have a proper like wiring system in my room, and I have to have so many like wires stuck on top of another and just keep plugging in and plugging out in order to film a single video or do something else. Oh my gosh, it just gives me like content creation girl, and I'm so happy. I'm so excited for 2025. It's definitely going to be my year, knock on wood 3 times. And yeah, let's just get into it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so today's whole purpose of this episode is to discuss my ins and out, give you some maybe ideas, maybe shift your focus, because if you had seen the poster I had made for Instagram, you might be wondering why the hell is she crossing out school and getting A pluses in 2025. Like, what the hell had happened there? Especially if you're someone who know me for the long time, you know that I'm always a girl who gets the best grades and then cries when she doesn't. So what the hell had happened there? Let's get an update on this. Okay, so I'm gonna start, I think, with my ins and then outs, because there is no particular because. The first thing that I have in my ins for 2025 is to rest instead of doom scroll. And listen me out. I'm not sure how much people actually struggle with it, because obviously there are people who struggle with it, but I don't know how to rest. Seriously, like, all of those things that you do for resting, like, ooh, go out, spend time with your friends, read a book, learn a new skill, like do exercise, like, doesn't it already sound like work? Am I missing out on something? But doesn't going out and working out doesn't sound like spending energy on something? I think you always do, but, and obviously I do get the sense of, ooh, like my mind is like relaxed, but my body is tense because I'm doing bench presses and I'm literally dying. My hands and legs are shaking. So I'm gonna have the biggest dive. I actually had to do this in 2024, and I had this planned in my 20 pages something Notion page. But then I was like, no, we're not doing this anymore. So 2025 again, January, I'm trying out of this again, and I already know a couple of things that I want to try out. So first of all, a recent friend of mine that I made, honestly so happy to say that, like making friends, that's so cute. I met a friend, Mom. Anyways, she introduced me to sewing, and before that I've been doing some knitting, trying, because I used to do it as a child, and then I just kind of abandoned it. So I'm trying to pick out those hobbies again and try new, as like sewing. But otherwise on my list I have coloring books, because I think it's just cute. Like, I can't, like, I don't know, because I definitely don't want to get something, like, really, really small, like, you know, those, like, huge coloring books with, like, big flowers with so many details. I don't want that, because I feel like that would stress me out. Honestly, what I have in mind is in the store right besides my house, there is this coloring book of Spider-Man. And I'm in my boyish era, so why don't I go and buy it? And actually, my best friend bought me markers for New Year's, so I might just go out and try those. The only problem is money at this point, because Christmas is gone, the money is gone. I love Christmas. I feel like this is my favorite holidays of the year, of the entire year, but the amount of money I have to spend on so many people in so little time is literally insane. Next, what I have is Think Day, something I was introduced in the Ali Abdal's workshop. It's basically a dedicating 4 to 5 to 6, how many you want, hours a day, where you think, where you don't do anything, you just like, I don't know, walk around, you go to the park, no stimulation, and you just like with yourself, with your own thoughts. And I swear to God, if I had a car, I would just be going on long car journeys, drives, like, yes, I would do that. But right now, walking in the rain, because global warming, no snow, no cozy anything, so this doesn't sound fun, but I honestly like the idea of sitting in silence and thinking. I've had that concept in mind for a while now. Someone introduced it to me online as well. I think it was Instagram, where you just sit in silence for 30 to 60 minutes, and at some point your head, your mind starts to clear out, and whatever problem you have, you can solve it. Then obviously I have reading. I honestly right now have the mindset that you can always read, and there is no such thing as a read block. Well, there's probably is, but I try to not think about it. And that there's so many genres. So there's, for me at least, there's poetry, there's gonna be educational books, so productivity stuff, and just in general, like, books, you know, like, I don't know, romance or fantasy. And in case I am getting bored of something, like reading, like, I feel like, oh, I can't read one more romance book, like, I'm so sick of it. How about I switch to poetry? Like, I never tried that. And then there's also articles. There is also probably something else, like short stories. I never, like, tried to commit to reading short stories, so maybe that's the point to start. Anyways, I'm reading Emily Henry right now. The funny story. Not gonna say much about it because I feel disappointed. And I love that author, so I feel kind of bad for saying, like, ugh, like, how come it's her last book and I don't like it as much as I like the before ones. So moving on, I also have YouTube and TV because my attention span is so weak. And if I could just sit down and concentrate on a 20-minute YouTube video without being like, ooh, let's go and scroll, that's gonna be great. And obviously journaling, family time. I want to definitely spend time more with my sister. Like, that would be so great, because I feel like recently we had this moment where I was not feeling my best mentally, and she was there for me. She was cheering me up, she was hugging me, and I felt like we had reached the point where it's not anymore like, oh, like, we're just two strangers who came from the same mother, you know, and we can actually bond. So I'm really looking forward to that. We are actually hoping on making some fun wintry activities planned this weekend or next. Fingers crossed it's gonna happen, because I'm really looking forward to it. Then next in for my 2025 is asking right questions. In my head, the communication, the healthy communication, like, okay, are you upset? Yes, I am upset. What are you upset about? I think what you said really upset me. This kind of like communication, you know, like couple communication. Basically what I wrote in my journal is communicating with myself like I'm in a romantic relationship with myself. And I think that makes sense, because whenever I'm upset, it's just like, ooh, I'm so upset, like I don't want to do anything. Let me just doom scroll and ignore my feelings. No, I don't think that's healthy to do. Sometimes ignorance is important, I think, obviously, I guess. But it would be really nice to start communicating with myself like, hey, what's up? Oh yeah, this situation made me feel really bad. And I think I'm already doing this in journaling, but just in general, just like being more gentle to myself and asking the right questions. What I meant by that was, I'm not feeling motivated. Hey, why do you not feeling motivated? Uncover this feeling. What other things do you feel? And I'm like, oh, I feel disgusted about myself. I feel sad. I don't know. I feel like I could do it better. Hey, who told you could, like, what are you doing right now that feels like you're not doing enough? Like, you know, like those kind of questions. Communication is a key, excuse me, so why don't I use it with myself? The next thing I have on my list is log in for German. It has been a year since I had a German class at school, because we moved and there's no German here. I've had a lot of mixed feelings, like, ooh, thank God I don't have to do this, but then, ooh, but I worked so hard to get to this level, I don't want to just give up. There's been periods where I've been practicing it, but then I abandoned it altogether. At some points I would be even forgetting that I have German as a language, and then someone would be like, hey, how many languages do you speak? And I'd be like, oh, German, gotta practice that. Anyways, I'm feeling so refreshed. I don't really want to say why I'm feeling so refreshed about German, but that would come out in my outs of 2020 for 2025. So you might just get the hint of why I'm not trying to share. But anyways, I just want to dive into all the aesthetics the way I used to learn English when I was learning this language. I want to divide my schedule into listening, writing, reading, talking. I don't want to do grammar, because I'm not sure my goal is to be able to express myself. I want to be walking down the Berlin streets and just like see those funky posters and be able to read it and get the joke. You get the joke? I get the joke. Moving on, guys. Something I also had gotten experience with in the Ali's Abdal workshop was setting quarterly goals instead of yearly goals. And it makes so much sense to me that, especially when I was planning and like drafting my plans for 2025, I didn't really see much sense in making like a huge document where I would write down my yearly goals and month by month of how I'm gonna do this, because honestly in 2024 I had so many goals and aims and projects that I would be like, I'm so excited, and then something would happen in my life and I'd be like, I'm changing my perspective. This is not my mindset anymore. I don't want to do this. This is not me anymore. And it honestly really made me doubt if I am able to be not consistent, but rather start something and finish it, even though it's always had been my quality, like even since I was a child. If I start something, I have to finish it. So this drastic switch of I change my mindset and I never come back to this has been kind of crazy. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do this year. So quarterly goals, dividing the year into quarters, and setting goals for the quarters. I think this is so much more manageable, and it allows you to change as an individual, because obviously who you are right now in January is not who you're going to be even at the end of summer, for example. You're going to be a completely different person. So how come my goals that I've set in January is supposed to still align with me if I'm a completely different person in the summer? Do and plan less. And this connects to my another one that is about deep work instead of running from one task to another. I love multitasking, and I know that I'm really good at it. But I just want to have this time in the day where I can sit and I'd be like, here are my 4 hours to work on this video. And just like lock in to have this flowy state. Because when you're switching from one task to another, you don't really get into the flow state. And I really miss it and I want to experience it. I haven't had it in so long. So plan and do less, but rather extend it. So instead of having a to-do list of 10x things, I would rather have 3, but then spend a really good amount of time working on this, my top 1 priority. Also in general, maybe it has something to do with my switch from maximalism to minimalism, but I'm really concentrating on planning less things in general to do. Like, you would not be seeing me writing to-do lists that are like 10 pages long. Right now it's just like boom, main priorities, that's it. And then I also, really weird, I've started feeling less guilty for when I have a goal for the day, like in my to-do list, and then I'd be like, oh, I don't really have time for this. And then I delete it and put it for tomorrow. I literally used to have so much guilt over it, but right now I feel so calm and at peace with myself when I do it. It's like, of course, like, you don't have time, Emily, it's okay. Like, I'm trying to be so gentle with myself, and that is literally insane. I'm really happy with the way I've been treating myself. Hopefully, this is going to be a lasting journey, and obviously ups and downs, but I just want to keep the loving feel and be connected to myself as much as possible. Last a few things I'm gonna go over in my ins, but they're kind of generic, so I'm just gonna skim through them. I have stay consistent because obviously I had this recent discovery that in fact you can do a little bit of work, just a 5-minute workout is so much more beneficial than not doing anything. And especially this feeling of, yeah, I could have stayed in bed, I could have continued scrolling on TikTok, but I decided to get up and do this 5-minute workout. And obviously it makes you feel so much better. So definitely with that, I want to do this with my active recall, so school. Workouts, podcast, YouTube, therefore content creation. It's better to sit down and write the script, even just a little bit, or record even just a part of the podcast and then continue somewhere else, rather than not doing it at all and completely abandoning it. Then I've got adapting to rapid change and embracing it, something I've started in 2024 and I really want to continue and maybe concentrate even more heavily on, because when I would be starting like a project, a hobby, I would already be thinking how I will be either doing it for the rest of my life or what are the possible ways that I will abandon it. And it doesn't necessarily help. And just recognizing and embracing the fact that things end, I just gotta stay in the moment and really appreciate that what I'm doing right now brings me pleasure and excitement and makes me feel fulfilled, and trying to not focus on the fact that it is going to probably end someday, especially because if I'm thinking of something I'm starting right now and I feel really excited about it and then I'd be like, oh, but it's gonna end and I'm sad, it doesn't mean in the future when I stop doing this thing I'm gonna be sad of stopping doing things, because what if I find out that this hobby actually I don't like it, and when I stop doing it I feel relief, but right now I don't need this feeling. I just want to concentrate on being excited and happy and fulfilled and just like looking forward to it, you know? Now moving on to some hobbies that I want to pick up in 2025. I actually have been doing majority of them. Well, it's only 2 hobbies, guys, so don't get too excited. It's writing, creative writing. I am finally feeling so positive to call myself a writer, to put this label on me, because there's been, I don't know for how long, but it's been a while since I wrote. And right now I'm feeling so motivated. I haven't had a long-term writing project in so long. So I'm so excited to pick up that Google Doc or a huge piece of paper and just like start brainstorming. And I really love this concept of New Year's because first of all, my For You page changes drastically and it's all productivity, how to start off with a scratch, and I'm just feeling so motivated, and like this whole aura and energy that comes from the internet right now of do what you promise yourself to do, stay consistent, it just like gives me so much energy and excitement. And the last thing that I have on my ends is design, guys. That's what I had in mind, design. Listen, my wish of going to university and study art is so big, but I do know that I'm not going to enjoy it. I just want to get by myself into design, so I don't have this feel like, oh, I really need to go to university to actually know this. No, I can learn this by myself, and I'm really looking forward to it because I could turn it into potential content, my content promotion. By making posters, and yeah, I've just been having so many videos on my For You page with amazing graphic designs, so I'm really looking forward to it. But also, what I also have written is advertising, so I'll combine these two. I actually don't really know what advertising is about, but I just love the concept, and my best friend had told me that I should get into it based on the artworks that I have made. So I just want to combine these two, study them separately, and see where it leads me. But I definitely want to have experience with it. Moving on to the second part of this podcast episode, it's all about my outs for 2025. I have some really cool thoughts to share about how I want to approach studying in 2025 and the whole concept of earning my diploma. To begin with, what I wrote in my journal is making studying my only priority, especially to the point where I cannot relax, work, think about anything unless I've done my studies. Therefore, schoolwork. Let me start with the whole concept of making studying my main priority, being out of my 2025. My whole life, I've been really centered about studying, and recently, especially in the beginning of this year, not this year, but this school year, I've been getting a lot of hints and stories from people which led me to the conclusion that good grades do not guarantee you any success in university, any success in life, and so does university doesn't. And obviously you can earn the degree. Obviously if you become a doctor, maybe it's a different thing. I haven't thought about that from that POV, but from my perspective, as someone who is craving to get herself out there and being heard in order to change the world, solve inequality, all of the fun stuff, I really had started to think that a 7 out of 7 in math maybe might not be enough. And I realized that me putting myself out there through my content, through me talking, through developing my creativities, through doing side hustles, starting projects, failing them, obviously learning new skills, this is a much bigger, a more stable, and a better guarantee that I will be able to make it in life. And for me personally, I've been feeling almost guilty for the last half a year at school whenever I'd be overstudying, whenever I knew that I promised myself to just study for 30 minutes and be done with this task, and it's been 2 hours and I'm still not through it. So this is the mindset, and what I'm trying to do right now is to time block. I wake up in the morning and I study just to get it on the side, like to be over with it, because I can't get over this worry that I have to study first. This is my main priority, and then I can go on and do content creation or whatever, even though I really want to put content and me myself putting out there on a pedestal right now. A quick interruption from the future me who's editing this episode right now. Something I find really important to clarify and make sure it doesn't come across the wrong way is the importance of education. earning a degree, knowing how to be a student, knowing how to learn. This is all extremely significant and is a privilege. But relying solely on that and thinking that my good grades are gonna bring me everything I need in life is a bit of an extreme position to be in, and sort of like putting all of your eggs in one basket. So what I'm trying to focus on right now and in 2025 is to have less pressure for myself, study more efficiently, therefore spend less time studying in order to prioritize my content creation, side hustles, evolving myself as a character, and finding out what my true purpose is, which for me seems to be more of a putting my eggs into different baskets and ensuring that I have actual skills that could back me up and I can still go places. You should definitely check out my YouTube video about the mindset shift that I'm having for 2025 with my studying, where I am also discussing this but in a completely different light. I'm gonna be leaving the link in the description of the episode, so if you're interested and intrigued by the concept of studying less but more efficiently and how I came to this point and what I'm doing currently in order to succeed in efficient studying and working smarter instead of harder, you should definitely check it out. And I'm not going to be saying anything more right now, and I'm not going to be spoiling myself. Moving on to the next concept of outs for my 2025 is overthinking. I had recently had a realization that overthinking is not something you are born with, like an illness, and you have to just learn to function with it. It's something that can be changed the same way I guess smoking can. If you don't enjoy smoking, quit smoking. If you know that smoking is bad, quit smoking. I know that overthinking is bad and I don't like overthinking. So I will just give it a go and try to stop it. I have a few resources that I briefly gathered from ChatGPT, and I have checked the links so they're actually working, because when this guy gives me links and they are fake, I feel like it's a universal joke. What I've got is, first of all, 2 articles: How to Combat Overthinking by Katie Martins and How to Stop Overthinking and Start Living by Diaga S. Then I have 2 books: Stop Overthinking by Nick Trethon and How to Stop Overthinking in 3 Minutes by Dr. Solani. I'm going to be leaving all the links in the description so you can check it out and have access to whatever materials I have. Moving on to the next thing I've got out of my 2025, hopefully working really hard too, is to not managing my money according to the calendar. The system that I use with my money is 50-30-20 rule, is where 20% of the money that I get goes to my savings, then 30 to my needs, and 50% to something like buy a gift to myself or get myself out for dinner or join my friends in a cafe. And what I've noticed is that I've been acting really financially immature towards money, especially when I know that something is coming up on the calendar. So my goal right now is to be checking my calendar a few months ahead and seeing what is there. So if it's a birthday of a friend of mine, I would naturally want to maybe put aside some of the money from the 50% or the 30% in order to buy this friend a gift. Especially when it's Christmas, where I literally wasted all of my savings on this one season. I feel like after this, I don't want this experience to be repeated. From now on, it's always check the calendar. So I am feeling myself more prepared and stable, and there's no such thing as last minute, oh, I really need to buy this book because it's on sale, but also my friend has a birthday and it's one on another, or I would have to use some of my savings. The next thing that I have that I want out of my 2025 is something that I already sort of mentioned before when I was talking about my German, but talking about my plans and goals. Stop it. Let me explain to you the brains working behind this. When you're telling your friend or your family member or your partner about your plans and they praise you, if you're lucky, you obviously get the boost of dopamine, and this brings you a lot of joy, happy emotions, you feel fulfilled, and the amount of dopamine that you get basically overshines all of the effort and hard work that you would have to put into this task. And it basically feels like I already have achieved this mentally, you know, because you got your praise, people are impressed, people are inspired, they're saying how smart you are, whatever it is that you came up with, and it feels like all of the work is not worth it because I already got the praise. So I really want to try to keep things to myself, and then when I am sure that I am actually working it, I've been consistent for a while, when I'm stable with the thought that someone praising me right now won't make me want to do this thing any less, then I would be able to share. And the last thing that I have on my outs for 2025 is forcing myself to commit to hobbies I have no energy or motivation for. I let go of it, and I completely let go of the pressure of Emily have to do this. And now I feel so much more excited and actually looking forward to come back to these hobbies rather than I would have kept on pushing myself to work. Also, something I have in mind right now is that maybe whenever you are feeling like, oh, I have to do this hobby because I have to stay consistent or whatever, but you have no energy, it doesn't bring you joy, there is no such a feeling as, I'm glad I did this after you did it, then maybe your body or universe is trying to hint at something that this shouldn't be the doing, the thing, the hobby that you should be putting your energy in right now. And again, my in for 2025 to ask correct questions. So when I'm feeling like I feel like I need to be reading, but I really can't, I really should step back and be like, whoa, what is actually going on here? Like, why do I not want to read? Is there something more to it? Maybe I would want to read something else. Maybe my body or the universe wants me to try something new. Like, I've been reading, like, for example, fantasies. I've not been reading fantasies at all. But in a universe where I have, maybe I'm sick of it and it's time for me to turn to fiction or literally anything else. And this is actually going to be it for today. I have not planned for this episode to be already 45 minutes long. I actually thought 15 minutes and we are out of here. I'm really, really glad we could talk today, and I hope you got your benefits from this. And I honestly love these episodes because when I'm cleaning my room, I just want to hear like this motivation speaking about like New Year's, you know? Just recently, I think it was like in the beginning of December, I was cleaning my room and I put on a girl who was talking about her 2024 ins and outs. And it felt inspiring, and I'm really looking forward to our next chat, and I hope you enjoyed it. And again, I hope you have a great day and see you next one. Bye!